so here's what we got cooking. Got to do a little bit of cleaning on this. A little bit of fraise. Oof, not the cleanest front. But we've got our gauge pod. We got a double because we've got boost and then oil temp. I just wanted to have oil temp, but because we've got the, oh, you can't really see it right there. Got our single gauge pod, but we're gonna have to take that out and put in this double one, or oil temp gauge. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to do an oil change because I gotta do that anyways. And then we've got our spacer, which there's been some comments in the product reviews of this. This is a glow shift. This one's also glow shift, but there's some videos on this one that says that it's not the greatest and it does leak, but there's only one way to find out. So we'll see if we can get lucky and have it not leak, but there's only one way to find out. So we gotta do an oil change real quick. I gotta jack the car up. Once we get the car jacked up, then we can get to doing some installing. And we got our bag, got our sensor, which will fit in here. I don't remember the thread size, but we're gonna have to do an oil change, get this thing jacked up, and get the oil filter off. Once we get the oil drained out, then we can start routing our signal wire through. And what we're gonna do for the gauge is use our existing wires in there. Once we get that done, then we're all set to go. This should go pretty quick. Well, I don't know about quick, but should be fairly simple. The only hard part is always routing it through the firewall, which we might be able to get lucky and get it routed through the passenger side because that's where our power wire is. So we might be able to just run it through the Smurf tube that goes behind the, kind of under the dash behind the center console, and that runs over to our gauge. So let's get this started. Let's see how bad this oil is. It ain't bad. No coolant coming out, so that's always good. The only downside to the Fiestas, let's just show this up to the side here. The oil filter is right there. So I know putting this spacer in, that spacer goes right there. Let that drain out for a little bit. Then we'll get to putting that on, but not too excited about it, not gonna lie. Okay, we've got the oil filter off. It took a long time to do that, but we've got the sensor in. We've got the little plugs in. Teflon taped them. Good to go. I'm not the best at Teflon tape, but who cares? Again, glow shift. We got some glow shift gauges. Ignore the super glue from the old gauge. Well, from the boost gauge, I should say. But we got a power wire, we got a ground wire, and I think what we're going to do is just route these two together into the cabin, and then probably just use the existing ground that we've got in there, which is just somewhere on the frame, and then we use the power from the gauges as well, since it is fused from the previous owner, which is actually really nice. Don't need that plug, but we'll have to get some wires in here. I don't have the tool for this, unless you can do it with a normal crimp tool, but whatever. I'll just cut these off and heat shrink and then tape, just to make sure these stay dry, or at least as dry as they can be, because it's under the car and there is no underneath skid plate on the Fiesta. So we'll just have to tape this up and try and keep it as dry as possible. But this will go in, and it'll be sensor side down, and then we can put the filter and then the adapter in, and good to go. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to get these filters off, but who cares when you got oil temp gauge? It'll be worth it, I think. Well, we'll see. But let's get going on this. Okay, so it's a little messy, but we've got them crimped in here, or spliced, whatever you want to call it. But we got plugs, whatever, and all we did was you just taped it up to the sensor. Sensor's tight, plugs are tight, wires, and then we literally just, because I don't know how much I'm gonna need, just got the spools here. Cheap spools, cheap wire, but if it works, it'll work. So now we just gotta get to the car and put these in, and then we can start getting a bunch of wires out and then start routing. So, got a jumble of wires. We got our Ransom Smurf tube through. It goes all the way down here. Goes all the way to the sensor. Now we just need to route this, and of course with our jumble of wire, it's gonna be kind of a pain, but we got the engine cover off. I think what we're gonna try and do is put it through here. Let's see, how do we want to route this? So we could, I think what we're gonna do is route it just like our boost hose is routed. I think we might, let's get this out of the way. What we'll do is we'll clean this up later. Why is this Smurf tube up there? What the hell? Come on. There we go. And we'll just, now I did put a lot of wire, did pull a lot of wire just to be on the safe side. Wire's pretty cheap, so I'd rather have too much. Wow, okay, yeah, I guess I'd rather have way too much. Just string that to the side. Okay. So this is kind of routed. Routed enough, I guess. So we need to get through. We gotta get through back there. And I know this was a real pain. Okay, so that's my boost line. It runs back through, get the focus, through here. So this is where the main cables are going through. So there's a little, not really little, but there's a grommet back there that we gotta go through. And it is not fun getting through. We're gonna have to get through there somehow with these wires. And normally what we'll do is we'll probably just take a zip tie, or I think might have another metal zip tie. We just have to stick it through and then figure out a way to pull it through. I didn't bring a flashlight. Well, this is our boost line, which will run up here and then go to our gauge. And this is our wiring that we did, which actually turned out to work for me pretty good, because then we can just cut and splice the new gauge into there. Okay, so we're routed through, finally. It's through here. You can see it moving on the other side. Grabs onto the master cylinder for the brakes. And then it goes up to the firewall. Then, what in the... Whack, bruh. Kids are whack. Anyways. And then, ooh, that's hard to see. You can see where it's routed through. Now we just have to do some work under here and get it routed right next to that, and we're fucking good to go. So we're right back where we kind of left off. It's been a little bit. I thought we were good to go, but we aren't. So, it's a bit of a tight fit. As you can see, we're definitely leaking. And we're leaking through that gasket of the sandwich plate. So, and I already cleaned it up once, and it's not a fast leak, but it does leak, and we're not gonna have that. So what we went with we bought a Mishimoto one. So this is the best route that I think we can go. The gasket looks pretty good. It's a nice big O-ring. And then the surface for the where the oil filter goes on is pretty good. We don't have another oil filter, and I have a feeling that one's not going to come off too easily. But what we have to do right now is take out that sensor. Once we, don't worry about that. Once we can get that sensor out, it's probably just gonna leak all over the place, which kind of sucks, but. All right, we got the sensor out. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but just wanna make sure it is gonna fit into here. Looks like it should. So we'll tighten up the one that they already gave us. Make sure she's in there. She said just keep scratching it. Brand new parts. Okay. Now, got these. We'll have to splice this one in as well. Didn't exactly want to do. It's kind of what we have to do. Go. Well, of course, we'll tape it up later, but now we gotta get this old one off because we had to get this out because you didn't want to rotate that all around. So we're gonna take the filter off, and then this should just come right off. I just did an oil change, probably a couple 100 miles ago, and I have some extra oil that I can put in, and I'm not trying to drain the whole oil pan, so where we're at now will work. Let's get back to it. All right, filter's off, and then in the back there you can see that the old sandwich plate is off, but the seal came out of that. I mean, you could probably put it back in and be fine, but I think the route I'm gonna go is get a new oil filter. It is a tight fit up in there. Gotta figure out which way this goes as well. All right, let's see, hold up. Shit, did I do this backwards? Yeah, I did it backwards. Dang. It's not the first time I've done that. God, I hate this. I hate Teflon tape. This is why I'm not a plumber. This stuff sucks. Oh man, all right. Definitely can make fun of me for how bad this is. I know Mark uses this a lot more than me. I'd like it to at least be kind of a clean-ish. Did I do it backwards? Nope, I did it right this time. All right. And thread around in there. Make sure she's tight. She got cat hair on everything. All right, she's in. It's not the greatest looking thing I've ever seen, that's for sure, but it will do. We at least have another plug in case we ever need it. I doubt we'll ever need it, but just in case. We gotta figure out which one of these I'm using, but I can figure that out once I get the oil filter. So hopefully they work. Might try and throw one on here, see if it goes, but otherwise we have the other one that we just took off. So let's go grab an oil filter, and then I think once I have the oil filter on, because what happens is the seal side is what mates to the car, and then this goes through like that. So you put this on, and then you slide this through, and then how you do it is then you put your oil filter on. I believe you gotta you tighten this up at least a little bit, but because this has to twist this way and your oil filter also twists, you just have to really just get this started, and then you can put your oil filter on. and then you're good to go. But I'm just hoping that this seal does a lot better than the last one, which I'm assuming it will be, and then the machining of it is a lot better. There's no burrs inside any of these holes, which is a lot better. So we got an oil filter back. So this one I need. What we'll do is we'll double check that it threads onto this one. 1 second. Go. Make sure we got a couple threads in. Yep. Perfect. Such a tight fit. I hope you guys can see this. Might be at the top of the screen, but damn it. Oh man. I don't want it to be all nasty. Whatever. Okay. So again, gasket surface on the outside, or on the inside facing the car. So where did we put that? Right here. So the female end goes inside of it, and then we just have to fit it up in there, which, why would it be easy? Oh, it's, I dropped it. Okay, let's just try and get this guy on there where we want it. Want the sensor over here. Wiring. Oh man. You know, if I had a lift or something, this would be probably super easy. Okay. This goes in the middle somewhere. I dropped it again. Oh. First try. Alright. And now we gotta fit this filter up in there. That's tape on it. Oops. Can't quite see. There we go. Oh, dang. Just thread on, buddy. Thread on. We threading on? I think so. Normally you would lube up. Oh, we should probably lube up the mating surface. We'll probably just, yeah, we'll do it right. We'll do it right. Kind of using the oil from in the pan 100% wrong. Should be using the new oil. And now we just drag her back on. I'd be surprised if we don't have carpal tunnel already. Oh, my hand hurts. Taking a break. Oil changes are not going to be fun on this. 100% gonna suck. We'll have to switch gloves, and then we will strip those wires down and then crimp them together. A little bit of tape, and then we'll have to fill the oil back up, and we still got to work on that gauge. We got a new wiring harness, and we got a new gauge pod that we can put in. So we're not quite done yet, but just about. It's our main focus right now. Is to get this the fuck out of here. Let's see. I should just pull it right out. This was more of a let's just get it done sort of deal, and I don't like that. So we're gonna come back and fix it. But we're gonna disconnect everything. Then we'll have to most likely break this apart because the way that we did it was we used super glue in here. It's not really the correct way to do it. Oopsies. And I gotta remember which one. One of these is, this will be ground and this will be our signal, I believe. We can always test that out. Let's pull all this stuff out of there. So this is our new one. Speed Brothers. Figured I might as well just add it, because why not? But this will do. So what we'll have to do, let's see, we don't have any more. We got an extra cable for this guy, but not for this guy, because it's, so this is the ground. Yeah, okay, sure. Well, the crimps don't really work because these wires are just cheap. But now we have to tear this apart. And I'll do what I have it over here. Definitely doing it a bit of the wrong way, but it'll work. We basically just, oopsies, throwing stuff. We just kind of cut into it pretty much and just tear it apart. Just don't break. Just don't break. Whatever, it can be all gross on the back side as long as the front side looks okay. So we pretty much just cut up the entire thing because we use super glue. So it's gonna be a long process, but it's what we're left with doing. So we'll come back when I have it all taken apart. Alright, back into it. Got our new gauge pod, which will sit right there. We'll do that last. Okay. This might help because I don't remember what is what. Hey, there it is. It tells us what is what. 12 volt source, 12 volt source, short black wire connects to ground, long black wire. What? There's more wires in this than the last one. Interesting. Okay. Definitely a lot more cable here than I wanted. I guess, yeah, we gotta connect both, so that would make sense. So we're gonna go right here. I don't want them to run down here if we can. I think what we'll do is we'll cut right here. This part's always like, what should I do first? You know, I never know what's the best route to take. It really doesn't matter as long as it's done right and it looks good. It's normally what I would do is crimp them and have the connectors on the end. But I don't have any more of the red ones. So just like down on the sensor, I had to use a splice, a butt splice. So I did make one revision. I did make the holes a little bit bigger, so then this can fit in the end. Because that's pretty important, especially for the route that the way that I'm doing this. We'll just splice these together. Okay, and then I think what we'll do is we'll tape these as well while we're here. We'll just tape it up. This isn't exactly necessary, but let's do it. Okay, taped up. Now what we've got left are the grounds. And I remember when I was talking to the guy, he said the ground should be separate, but realistically, that I don't see how that matters as long as you're grounded. So we'll twist the grounds together. Okay, and then I think, let's see how many grounds we got. Just one ground right here. Cut this guy off. So twisting them together. Got the grounds together, but then we want to get this ground in there as well. But when we do that, we'll have to put this guy through. We'll twist all these 3 grounds together. Then we'll get another butt splice. Crimp these 3 together. We're gonna crimp all the grounds. Crimped here. Green wire doesn't. Ah, shoot. Nope, that does measure. Okay. Green wire. We want a good solid connection here. Green wire goes to this guy. This guy will cut off. We'll just use a little piece of tape on this guy. Okay. Taped up. Not too worried about the ground being taped up. Should, but so I think these guys are all connected to the same thing. And do another butt splice. Hopefully she holds. This one's a 12-volt source, so we'll use a little tape. Okay. All right. So, voltage, ground for this guy. Got grounds connected, power. We just got to put the gauge in. I think what we'll do is just tape like all the way around, all the way along it, just so it looks nice, nicer than just exposed wires. So if you don't know, for the boost gauge, we actually have tapped into the intake manifold right at the top of it. Okay. So now, scoop this guy forward a little bit. Give you something to work with. Alright. So this is our signal wire. Just did that too. Alright, we're just gonna cut it back. Start over. Okay, signal goes to this guy. Just like that. Crimp her down. Tape. Crimped, and now some tape. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do some tape. Maybe it'll help hold it together if anything comes apart. I highly doubt that. But all right, got our 2 power wires, which of course are short. We have to cut them kind of short as we can. Oof. Left a good couple mils on that guy. Ah! Oh. Did I cry anything? I hope not. I'd probably fucking cry. Don't catch on anything. Okay. Signal wire is all goofy looking. But we're in. So you've already seen enough of this stuff. So we'll just tidy this up, get some double-sided tape on the bottom of this guy, and get our other little shroud on, and then we'll see if it works this time.